So are willful sins not covered by the blood of Christ? And what does willful sin actually mean? Because if there's no more sacrifice for sins after you willfully sin, then you would be unsaved. You'd be a reprobate. And right away we should realize this is not rebellious sins or sins done of your own volition, because there's lots of verses that say not of works, and that's including bad works and good works. It's not according to our works would mean that even if you sinned, then you're still forgiven, so long as you keep on believing. So now we're going to see the context to understand what willful sin is. So this is Hebrews 10, and he's talking about the Old Testament law and how the New Testament has supplanted it, and that now that we have believed in Jesus Christ, that we can't go back to the old law, which would be falling from grace, like Galatians 5:4 says. And so he's warning them to keep on believing. Keep believing the gospel. So willful sin in this context is clearly talking about stopping believing, which belief and faith are synonymous. When you actually read the book of Hebrews, you'll see throughout there it's used synonymously. And it simply means to consider something to be true. And I went over those verses real quick, but if you want to look in greater detail, you can see exactly what I'm saying in that chapter. See where it says, "Cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward." Or verse 38 where it says, "Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him." Verse 39, "But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul." And that's the message of pretty much the whole book of Hebrews. They were Jews before, and they're ethnic Israelites, and he doesn't want them to go back to the Old Testament law, because the Old Testament law couldn't save. The Old Testament was before Jesus. That was when people were supposed to follow the Old Testament law. It was before Jesus came. And after Jesus died, now it's the era of grace. And it basically says the same things in Hebrews 2, Hebrews 3, 4, 6, 9, and 12. So in conclusion, to sin willfully is not to sin in a rebellious way. It's just to stop believing. It's an evil heart of unbelief. Like he said, "But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him."